couple of general things here that some questions people might have are when will grades be posted? The grades will be posted the Tuesday after the class ends or later. The earliest, basically, is the Tuesday after the class ends. So you want to make sure you have any assignments, all assignments turned in, obviously before that point, to give me time to grade those assignments. Week 4, the assignments are due on Saturday instead of Sunday, so Saturday at 11:59 p.m., just so you're aware. Also, just so you know, all grades are posted at the same time, as far as I know. So if one student isn't ready, everyone is waiting for that student to finish up and then me to grade the assignment and then be able to post grades. That doesn't mean if you have a family emergency or something that you can't ask for a little bit longer to turn in the assignment, but just be aware of that. For discussion boards, do try to do these earlier in the week. I don't make the discussion boards due until all the other assignments are due. However, it does make it a bit more difficult if someone tries to go in there on, Sunday or Monday or something earlier in the week, and everyone else doesn't go in until later, if you're trying to respond to other students. So if people get in there earlier in the week, that's obviously helpful. And it does make more sense if they're done earlier in the week as you're kind of rolling around in the material and thinking about things. They make a little more sense rather than waiting until the very end. Check the rubric, but in most cases, it does say that you need to respond to at least 2 other students. And then if you do have a response that is several parts, more than one question, if you could label those parts of your responses, especially if they're required in the rubric, like if you get 5 points for this, answering this question, and 3 points for answering that question and whatnot, if you could put a label for each of those, or even make them separate paragraphs and answer them in the order that they're presented, that does make it easier for me to grade those things, and I appreciate that. And there's less of a chance that I will miss something as well. I do have a website that has some supplementary material. Not much right now, actually. So I will be asking for if anyone doesn't mind me using their assignments as examples for students for this class and or future classes. I would appreciate that. You can just send me a text at 714-867-PROF. Again, that's 714-867-PROF if you're okay with that, or send me an email, either one. We do have weekly meetings. They are optional. They do not go into the grade books. You're not docked for them. I do them at 5 p.m. on Mondays at Pacific Standard Time. This one, obviously, is a pre-recorded meeting, so excuse me. We don't have the live one this week. I figure it's a bit tough sometimes to get in there the first day of the class when you haven't had much of a chance to maybe go in there and kind of figure out what the assignments are. Next week, we'll probably do a live meeting or a pre-recorded. I'll post information on that soon. The last week of class, on week 4, we will probably be doing a Twitter chat, which is kind of different, so I'll post some information on that as we get closer. Rubrics, always check rubrics so you don't miss points. I'm always a little sad when a student misses some points on an assignment, and it was clearly labeled in the rubric that you were going to get 20 points for this or 40 points for that or whatever, and it's just not there in the assignment, and I'm forced to dock points. So make sure you don't miss those points. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the assignments for this week. The first assignment is collaborating with Google Docs, and this was a fairly simple one. Basically, we're just kind of getting in there and figuring out how to create a Google Doc and then share that Google Doc with someone else and how to give them editing rights or commenting rights and things like that. Several of you may have already done that, but that's the assignment for this week. So first off, you're going to create a Google Doc. There is some information in the class. It's worth noting on how to set up Gmail and things like that, because Google Docs are are associated with a Gmail account. Then after you create the Google Doc, you're going to share with me at nationaltechprof@gmail.com. And then be sure I have at least comment rights. So as you're sharing, you should see that there are comment rights and editing rights and view only rights. You don't want to just give me view only rights, because then I can't do anything with that document. Following that, you are going to create a Microsoft Word document, okay? And you're going to link to your Google Doc that you shared with me up here. So in Google Docs, there is a way that you can share the document via a link. It's up in the top right-hand corner, and when you click on Share, you'll see that there. In that Microsoft Word document, you're going to do a 300 to 500 word essay on the benefits of collaborative work groups. That's your first assignment. Next assignment is going to be a tech plan. Okay. Am I recording here? Okay. Sorry, I had to move there for a second, so just had to check something real quickly. Anyway, the next assignment is going to be a tech plan. This is a group assignment. You will complete the assignment as a group and turn in one assignment. You can begin to get into groups via the Week 1 group formation discussion board, found under discussion boards in our class website. After forming your group, you're going to create a Google Doc for collaborating and invite me with at least comment privileges again. And then you're going to begin your technology plan. You're going to want to see some information under the assignment explanation, some details on what needs to be included there. Let me go ahead and show you that. Okay, so here's what you're going to want to include here. You're going to want to start working with the group and put the name of the institution that you're going to be creating the tech plan for. You're going to put the names of the members and just all this information right here, basically. Right here, there is a template. This is the template that you're going to be using to create your tech plan. This does simplify it quite a bit. So let me go ahead and open this up and show this to you. Okay, so when you click on that template right there, you're going to see this Microsoft Word document right here. If you would rather work in Google Docs with your group, you can do that. You just need to import this Word document into Google Docs. It should import fairly easily because it's a fairly simple document, but you're just going to want to make sure this information is here. And essentially, you're just doing what is stated in each of these sections. So that should give you quite a bit of guidance on what to do within the tech plan. Okay, let's go ahead and continue here. After you're done with that Google Doc, you're going to go ahead and submit it. You can submit it via a link to the Google Doc with those sections completed, the way that we just discussed here. Okay, next assignment is a situational gap analysis. This is where you and your group are going to meet and begin to discuss what's going to be in the tech plan. So perhaps this one should have gone beforehand, make it a little bit easier to understand. But essentially, basically, you're going to meet and collaborate within our our online class. If you have another way that you want to meet online, you're welcome to use that. FaceTime, Hangouts, House Party, things like that. Just let me know if you're going to want to do that. This House Party is a little bit of a joke here. Although if you use House Party, that's fine. You're welcome to use it. But that's more, or at least where the kids used to go a little while ago. In this meeting, you're going to want to discuss the state of technology at your school or corporation. Each team member will present the state of technology at their school or corporation. And then as a group, you're going to decide which of your team members' workplace you're going to develop your tech plan for. After deciding that, You're going to answer the 4 questions that are found in Chapter 3 of your book on page 66, and then if you have the Kindle book, the location is in there too. It's around 1048 or so, if you have the Kindle edition of it. If you would like to, on this assignment, if you want to use Google Docs to collaborate on the assignment, and maybe each of you answers 1 question, or each of you answers 2 questions, depending on how many people are in your group, and then you'd like to, just work on 1 Google Doc, and then each of you do a part of it, you're welcome to do that. You can turn in 1 Google Doc as a group. Just make sure that all your names are at the top of the paper, plainly up at the top, plainly in the paper, so I know who to give points to. And then also, you can also put team members' names into the comments section of, where we submit the assignments as well. Just make sure that each member does review the Google Doc at the end if you're going to do it as a group, and make sure you agree on the answers to those questions and the paper as a whole. So you'll want to each review it instead of just focusing on your 1 part, to make sure everybody understands the paper as a whole as well. Okay, and then that's it for that one. So let's go ahead and move on. The technology plan overview, that's in there. It's not technically an assignment, but there is some information on creating your group and beginning your tech plan. There's some good information in there, so you'll want to go ahead and check that out. And then there's also a sample of a tech plan that you can go check out, so you can have a sample of the assignment, that tech plan assignment, because that's going to be a big one for this class. Okay, so moving on, there is a discussion board for the week as well. So you're going to be reading this chapter. It's within a reading that's on the class website. So you're going to read chapter 2, and then after reading that chapter, you're going to categorize yourself as a sage, sensei, or an oracle, and then explain why you chose that designation for yourself. And then, of course, you're going to want to post at least 2 responses to other students as well. Couple of things to note on the week 1 class website. Here are your chapters that you're going to read, and there's some good information here, some good resources here about how to set up Gmail, some good videos, some help on Google Docs if you're not familiar with it, and then some good information here on planning for doing a technology plan to help you out with that. There's always some good resources as you go through this class, so just don't forget about those resources. All right, that's about it. I'll be posting information soon about our next week meetings, our next week's meeting, and upcoming meetings, things like that. So look for the announcements. Look in the announcements section for that. Thank you very much for your time, and have a great week.